Good day, children. Hope you all are fine. Today, let us go on with Unit 7 Prose, The Dying Detective, written by author Conan Doyle. Children, this is very interesting lesson, children. For sure, you will love this lesson. See, you would have read many of Sherlock Holmes stories, isn't it? So, one of the story is here. Maybe some of you know for sure you'd have read Sherlock Holmes, children. Sherlock Holmes stories all know detective stories it is, and obviously young children know you all you love to read detective stories. This story is one sort of such, children. For sure you will love this lesson. Yes, I really wish you be concentrate, children. I want you to be attentive when you listen to this lesson. Now let us go to the warm-up, children. What the story says, let us see in a gist. The detective Sherlock Holmes was seriously ill. He wants to meet his assistant Watson. He asks his landlady to get him. Watson was surprised to see the condition of his master. Was Watson able to save his master? Read on to know more about the underlying story behind Holmes' sickness. Yes, children, now what happened? The story opens from the sickness of Sherlock Holmes. Here Sherlock Holmes, no children, he is seriously ill and he meets his assistant Watson. How he meets? No? He asks his landlady to call his assistant Watson. That is how Watson comes to see Sherlock Holmes. And the moment he sees Sherlock Holmes, no, he is surprised to see his condition. And Watson, no, is unable to save his master. Now, let us see what happens to Sherlock Holmes. Let us see. Is he curing from the sickness or what's happening to him? Let us see. That is what the lesson here. Children, once again I tell you, the lesson is very interesting. For sure you will love the lesson if you concentrate. It depends on your concentration. I really want you to concentrate the lesson, children. Mrs. Hudson, the landlady of Sherlock Holmes, came to me and said, Mr. Holmes is dying. Mr. Watson, for 3 days he has been sinking and I doubt if he will last another day. He will last another day. Now what's the meaning, children? If he will live for another day. That's the meaning. Now what happens? Mrs. Hudson, no children, she is the landlady of Sherlock Holmes. The home where Sherlock Holmes is living. Mrs. Hudson, she is the landlady of that house. No, she came to Mrs. Watson and she said, Mrs. Holmes is dying. He is seriously ill. For 3 days he has been sinking in the sense, for 3 days he was lying on the bed. He didn't move from his bed. That's the meaning. And I doubt if he will last for another day. If he will live for another day. That's the meaning. Last for another day. Na? If he will live for another day. He would not let me get a doctor. I told him I could not stand it anymore and would get a doctor. He replied, let it be Watson then. Now Watson, no, he asked the landlady, why don't you get a doctor? When Holmes is really sick, why don't you call a doctor? For that she says, she said that she has informed Holmes telling that she will fetch a doctor. But Holmes, no, he doesn't want to see any doctor. He is not allowing Mrs. Hudson to fetch a doctor. He is not allowing her to fetch a doctor to cure him, which means he doesn't want to meet any doctor. That's the meaning. Sherlock Holmes, he doesn't want to meet any doctor. He is seriously ill, children. In spite of that, no, he doesn't want to see any doctor. I was horrified, for I had not heard about his illness before. I rushed for my hat and coat. As we drew back, I asked her about the details. Now, the moment Watson he came across the sickness of Sherlock Holmes, no, he was horrified. Horrified in the sense it was shocking news to Watson. He rushed, he ran fast to take his hat and coat. He wore his coat and hat, and he started in a hurry to meet Sherlock Holmes. And before that, before he could leave his house, no, he asked Mrs. Hudson, what is his illness, and how did he fell ill, what happened, all the details. No, he asked Miss Hudson, because Watson, he doesn't know anything about Sherlock Holmes' sickness, isn't it? So he collected all the details from Mrs. Hudson. There is little I can tell you, sir. He has been working on a case down at Rotherhithe, near the river, and has brought this illness back with him. He took to bed on Wednesday afternoon and has never moved since. For 3 days, neither food nor drink has passed his lips. Why did you not call a doctor? I asked. Now, she said, I can tell you very little, sir. No, Mrs. Hudson, she says to Watson that even she doesn't know much about it. She knows that Mr. Watson, she says that she knows that Sherlock Holmes was working on a case at Rotherhithe, near a river. It's a place near children. It's a name of a place, Rotherhithe, and near a river. He has bought this illness as he was investigating a case near the river. No, he was affected with this illness, she says. And for past 3 days, no, right from Wednesday afternoon, he was sick and he did not move from the bed. For past 3 days, he neither had any food nor drink. Nothing has passed his lips and is seriously ill. Mrs. Hudson, she says to Watson, Sherlock Holmes is seriously ill for past 3 days, sir. And now Watson is asking, why don't you call a doctor, Mrs. Hudson? When you know about her sickness, why don't you call a doctor? I asked. He wouldn't have it, sir. I didn't dare to disobey him. Mrs. Hudson, she says, I asked him, shall I fetch a doctor? I asked him. But no, he didn't allow me to get a doctor. He didn't permit me to fetch a doctor. And moreover, no, Mrs. Hudson, she says that she is not that much dare enough to disobey Sherlock Holmes. Okay, which means she respects him, children. She respects him to the core, where she couldn't disobey him. That's the sense. He was indeed a sad sight. In the dim light of a foggy November day, the sick room was a gloomy spot, but it was. Now, Watson, no, he rushed up to meet Sherlock Holmes. The moment he reached there, no, how was his room? How was Sherlock Holmes' situation over there? Na? He was indeed a sad sight. The appearance of Sherlock Holmes, no, it was a very sad sight to see him. He was sick, no, children, for past 3 days, where you don't eat or drink anything. Just imagine how a man sight might be there. And in the dim light of a foggy November day, the sick room was a gloomy spot. It was November. Actually, it is a foggy month, November month. In here, no, children, we say it is rainy months. But in London, no, children, you say it is a foggy month. And the sick room was gloomy spot. Gloomy spot in the sense, it's a dark room. But it was the gaunt face staring from the bed that brought chill to my heart. His eyes had the brightness of fever. His cheeks were flushed and his hands twitched all the time. He lay listless. Now, how was his face, children? He had a gaunt face. What do you mean by gaunt face, children? Gaunt face in the sense of a lean face, especially when a person is suffering from hunger. No, children, you could see his face, no, turning to be a lean face. That is what gaunt face. And no, staring from the bed, that brought chill to my heart. The moment I saw Sherlock Holmes, no, I was really shocked. That's the meaning. Brought chill to my heart in the sense I was shocked to see Sherlock Holmes. He has grown so weak. His eyes had the brightness of fever. His cheeks were. And how was his eyes? How was the eyes of Sherlock Holmes? His eyes, no, children, it was bright like. Uh, Children, when you have high temperature, obviously, you could recognize your face, and your cheeks all, it will flushed. That is, your cheeks might turn to be little pinkish color where there is high temperature for sure. You could see the symptoms, and his hands twitched all the time. What do you mean by twitch, Rain? A short sudden jerking movement. Twitch in the sense giving jerking movement. He lay listless. Listless in the sense he was sick on the bed. My dear fellow, I cried, approaching him. Stand back, stand right back, he cried. But why? I want to help you, I said. Certainly, Watson, but it is for your own sake. Now, the moment Watson, he approached Sherlock Holmes, Sherlock Holmes, he started shouting at him. He said, my dear, stand back. I don't want you to come near to me. He cried in the sense he shouted. Who shouted to whom? Sherlock Holmes, he shouted Watson. He asked Watson not to come near to him. No, Watson asking, why you don't want me to come near him? What happened? Certainly, Watson, but even then, Holmes says, no, I really don't want to come near to me. Be away from me. For my sake, I was surprised. No, Sherlock Holmes, he says to Watson, for my sake, I want you to be away from me. Don't come near to me. And this, all this attitude of Sherlock Holmes, it was surprising Watson. Why is he behaving in a strange manner? What is wrong with him? He was surprised. I know what is the matter with me. It is a disease from Sumatra. It's a deadly and contagious, Watson. That is by touch. Now, Sherlock Holmes, he says to Watson, Watson, I know what is my condition. What is my disease? I know. See, this is a disease from Sumatra. Sumatra, no, children, it's from China. No, the disease, it is from China. He has infected by the disease. And this is a contagious. He says, I am affected by a contagious disease. Contagious disease in the sense spreading of a disease from one person to another by direct contact. Okay, when you are suffering from any contagious disease, children, and when you meet another person, obviously a disease, that will pass to another person. That's what it is known as contagious disease. Contagious, very easily it gets spreaded out. Fastly it spreads out, children. That is what contagious. Okay. Watson, that is by touch. No, Sherlock Holmes says, see, I'm suffering from contagious disease, and this contagious disease, it takes place by touch, by touching one person to another person, or being near to the deceased person. Where you are near to the deceased person, obviously you will also be affected with the disease. Good heavens, Holmes, do you think this can stop me? I said, advancing towards him. No, Watson says, how could you stop me, Holmes, saying that it is a contagious disease? Could you stop me from nearing you? Who said this? Watson. If you will stand there, I will talk. If you don't, you must leave the room, said my master. Now Sherlock Holmes says, Watson, if you stand away from me, then I'll talk to you. If you try to come near me, then you have to leave my room. You have to leave my house, he said. Who said children? Sherlock Holmes, no, he was very, very strict person here. Okay. I have always given in to Holmes' wishes, but now my feelings as a doctor were aroused. I was at least his master in the sick room. Holmes, I said, you are not yourself whether you like it or not. I'll examine your symptoms and treat you. Okay. Now, Watson, he says, see, always no, I've given to Holmes' wish. Holmes' wish in the sense, whatever Sherlock Holmes' wish, no, that is what Watson used to do. He never goes against Holmes' wish. But now, no, being a doctor, my feelings are aroused. Now, who is doctor here? Watson, he's doctor. Okay, he says, see, being a doctor, no, my feelings arose now. As a doctor, I cannot see you being sick. It's my duty to cure you. Only if I come near to you, I'll come to know what disease you're suffering from, what's your trouble, I'll come to know it. And it was, okay. And he says, no, this is a sick room. No, I have to test you, he says. No, Holmes, no, he said, you're not yourself, whether you like it or not. I will examine your symptoms and treat you. Now, Watson says, see, Holmes, you're not in yourself. Okay, which means you are out of mind now, you are sick, and as a doctor it's my duty that I should examine you and know with your symptoms I'll come to know with what you are suffering with your symptoms I can treat you. So allow me to come near you, let me know with what disease you are suffering with. Okay, if I am to have a doctor, he said, let me at least have someone in whom I have confidence. Now, Holmes, no, he says, okay, if you really want to bring a doctor to me, no, I want a doctor, the one whom I really have confidence. Okay, that means Sherlock Holmes, he says he has no confidence on his friend. Okay, he is also a doctor, but he has no confidence on him, he says. Then, you have none in me. See, that's what Watson is asking. Watson is asking Sherlock Holmes, which means, don't you have confidence in me? Will I not treat you? Am I not a doctor? Will I not check you and find out what's your trouble? With your symptoms, will I not know what's your disease? That's what Watson is asking Sherlock Holmes. In your friendship, certainly, but facts are facts, Watson. You are a general practitioner, not a specialist of this disease. Now, what is Sherlock Holmes saying here? Okay. Sherlock Holmes, no, he says, see, I have no confidence in your treatment, but I really have confidence in your friendship. You are only a general practitioner. Now, why he says he has no confidence in his treatment? Because Watson is a general practitioner. Children, general practitioner in the sense where you go to doctor, no children, the doctor who no, who sees all the disease like a fever, stomach ache, vomiting, all this. He is known as general physician. Okay, now that's what Sherlock Holmes says. You are a general practitioner, not a specialist of this disease. The disease what he is affected, Watson is not the specialist of that disease. That is what Sherlock Holmes mean to tell him. If so, let me bring Sir Japper Meek or Penrose Fisher or any other best man in London. Now, Watson, he says, okay, when you think I'm not good enough in treating you, let me bring some other doctor. No, let me bring Sir Japper Meek or Penrose Fisher, the best doctor of the Londons. Let me fetch them, he says. How ignorant you are, Watson, he said with a groan. What do you know about Tarpaulin fever or the Black Formosa plague? I have never heard of them, I admitted. No. Sherlock Holmes, no, he start shouting at his friend. He says, how ignorant you are, Watson. Ignorant in the sense not knowing about the danger. He groan in the sense make a deep inarticulate sound conveying pain or despair. Children, when you have a pain in your body and when you are sick, you keep groaning. Okay. Now, what do you know about Sherlock Holmes is asking Watson, what do you know about Tarpaulin fever, or this Tarpaulin fever is also known as black fever. What do you know about this fever? And this fever is also known as Black Formosa, which means it's a plague. Plague in the sense what, children? A contagious bacterial disease characterized by fever. Okay, it is a spreadable disease, children. Contagious in the sense very fast it spread. Any spreading disease is contagious. Okay. I have never heard of them, I admitted. Now, listening to all what Sherlock Holmes says, no, Watson, he says, I have not heard of such disease. Something new you are saying about, he says. Children, look at this picture. See, Sherlock Holmes. No, Sherlock Holmes is lying on the bed. Watson comes to meet him. See, you can see the picture. It's very clear. Yes, you could see the picture. Okay. There are many problems of the disease in the East. I have learned that much during my recent researches, and during this course, I caught this illness, he said. Now, Sherlock Holmes, no, he says, there are many problems in these diseases, Watson. I don't want you to come near me. And no, I have learned much about this disease in my recent researches. No, I have learned much about this disease. And during this, as I was as I was in research, I was caught by this illness. Who says this? Sherlock Holmes says, I will bring Dr. Enstree. Then I said, going towards the doctor, never have I had such a shock when the dying man bolted the door and locked it, shouted in an uncontrolled way, and in a moment he was back in his bed. Now, Watson, he says, okay, you don't allow me to cure, never mind. Anyways, I'll bring Dr. Enstree. As Watson kept telling him, no, Sherlock Holmes, he gets up from the bed and he just pushed him into a room and he bolts the room outside. And to this reaction, no, Watson was surprised. What happened to this man? This man is sick, and how could he push me in such a forceful manner inside the room? And how could he bolt the door? Bolt in the sense locking the door. How could he lock me like that? No, he was really surprised. Children, just imagine a man who is sick. Obviously, no, he'll be weak. He'll not be able to push anyone else, or he might not be able to show his power. No, towards other, he couldn't show his power, but here he couldn't show his force. Or but here Sherlock Holmes, no, being sick man, he pushes Watson inside the room, very forceful manner. He pushes him inside the room and he bolts the room, and he shouts in uncontrolled way. And in a moment, he was back in his bed. So after locking the door, no, he shouts at Watson, and he goes back to his bed. You won't have the key by force from me, Watson. Be here till 6 o'clock. It is 4 now. Now Sherlock Holmes, he goes to his bed and he says, Watson, you will be here inside the room till 6 o'clock. It is 4 o'clock now. Now for 2 more hours you will be inside the room. This is madness, Holmes, I said. Only 2 hours, Watson. Then you can get a doctor of my choice. Now, Watson, no, he says, what is this, Sherlock Holmes? This is madness. How could you lock me inside the door? For 2 hours, what will I do? Now, Watson, no, Watson, no, he says, what will I do for these 2 hours? Then Holmes says, you be there inside for 2 hours. After that, you can fetch a doctor of my choice. Of my choice. Now, whose choice here, children? Sherlock Holmes' choice. Okay. You can read some books over there. At 6, we will talk again. So, Sherlock Holmes, he says, if you really feel boring sitting alone, no? See, you have some books over there. You can read those books. And after 2 hours, we shall meet again. Unable to settle down to reading, I walked slowly round and round, looking at the pictures. Finally, I came to the mantelpiece, where among other things I saw a small black and white ivory box. With sliding lid. Okay. No, Watson, he was unable to settle down to read. No, he felt uneasy. He was walking up and down. He was walking around the room here and there, looking at the pictures, the settings of the room, how the room is kept here, there, all the edges of the walls he was watching, and every corner of the room, no, he was just making a note. He was moving inside the room here and there. He was moving. Who was moving there? Who was moving here, children? It is Watson who was moving inside the room. Now, as he was moving inside the room, he was caught by sight of mantelpiece. What do you mean by mantelpiece, children? A structure of wood or marble above or over the fireplace. No, one small box he saw over the fireplace. Okay. He came across a small ivory box with sliding lid. What do you mean by sliding lid, children? Just you can slide the lid to open the box. No need to lift the lid, children. You can just push the lid. The box will open. As I held it in my hand to examine it, I heard a dreadful cry. Put it down at once. Watson, he said. I hate to have my things touched, sir. Down, ma'am, and let me have my rest. As he come across the mantelpiece, no children, Watson, he picks up the box, and when he was about to open, no, Sherlock Holmes, he shouts him in a dreadful cry. He shouts. He asks him not to touch the box, and he says, "Put the box at once, Watson. Put the box down." And I don't like anyone touching my things. No, I don't want you to touch any of my things over there. No, quietly sit. Put the box down and sit down. He says. Then I sat in silence, dejection, until the stipulated time had passed. Now, Watson, he said, have you any change? Yes, I replied. Now, the moment Sherlock Holmes shouted at Watson, no children, Watson, he was shocked to hear all such wordings from Sherlock Holmes. He put the box down. He didn't touch the box later on. He put the box down and he sat quiet for 2 hours. He sat quiet. Now after 2 hours, no, Watson, he said, "Have you any change?" Yes, I replied. How many? Half a crown. Put them in your watch pocket and all the rest in your trouser pocket. You will light the gas lamp, but it must be half on. No, he says, you have any change? No? Put that. He's asking how much you have. No? He has half a crown. What do you mean by half a crown, children? It is a British coin equal to 2 shillings and 6 pennies. Okay, and he says him to put it in his pocket. And no, he asks. Holmes says to Watson to light the gas lamp, but that gas lamp, no children, it should be in half away. And you will have the kindness to place some letters. No, he is asking him to place some letters. See here, I'll show you. Letters and paper on the table within my reach. No, there's one small table, children. See, you could see in this picture. See, here is a small table. He is asking Watson. No, Sherlock Holmes is asking Watson to drag the table near him with some papers, some newspapers on it, and no lamp with half lit lamp where it could be reachable to him. Now place the ivory box on the table within my reach. Slide the lid and bit with tongs. What do you mean by tongs, children? Tongs in the sense a device used for picking up object consisting of 2 long pieces free at one end and pressed together at the other end. Tongs na way you could hold something else, children. Okay, on the table. Good. Now you can go and fetch Mr. Culverton Smith of 13 Lower Bar Street. That is, after 2 hours, after the stipulated time passed away, he calls Watson and he says, okay, Watson, now you drag the table. He has one small table in his house. And no, he says Watson to drag the table near him. He's asking him to place some, what is that? No, some letters and some papers on the table, and no, to lit the lamp in the half. And he wants him to keep that ivory box also on the table with the tongs. Everything, no, he asked him to place it on the table and drag the table near him. The table, the things, no, all the articles should be to his reachable in the sense where he could take those things. That's the meaning. He says Watson to place to keep entire all these things in the table and keep the table near him. And now he says, now you fetch Mr. Culverton Smith of 13 Lower Bark Street. He said, no, what Holmes said, no, I am not interested to get cured by you. I don't believe you. I want a person who could really treat me in a better way. So he says, Holmes says to Watson, go and fetch Mr. Culverton Smith. He's giving the address also. What is the address, children? 13 Lower Bark Street. Now Holmes is asking Watson to fetch this person. Now we'll see in the next part, we'll see who is this man, who is Mr. Culvertson, why is Sherlock Holmes asking him to fetch. Is he a better doctor than Watson, or who is Culvertson Smith? Let us watch on in a next part, children. Children, after watching the video, I want you to read the lesson. Do read the lesson, children. Only if you read the lesson, you will understand the lesson better. Do read the children. Do read the lesson. Let us meet in the next part.